Hey all, and welcome back to the HellfireComms coverage of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass DLC. Man, that's a mouthful. I dread having to do retakes every single time we talk about this stuff. So we're going to be covering Wave 3 this month, and that covers the Rock Cup and the Moon Cup. Let's start, as we mean to go on, with the Rock Cup. Tell us what's in this cup, mate.
So as you can see on screen, we've got London Loop, we've got Blue Lake, Alpine Pass, and the most soulful track, Maple Treeway.
Indeedy, so many fond memories of playing Mario Kart Wii online. But we've got a nice selection of systems here. We've got Tour, Mobile, GBA, 3DS, and Maple Treeway. So let's get started here. I hope you don't mind, but I've gone with a kind of different kart setup here. I was kind of tired of my vintage galleon sort of vehicle. So I went with something a bit more proper, a bit more befitting Sir Ed Tom of 64. You'll see what I mean when we get started.
I didn't see this, so I'm very curious and a little bit scared.
Yeah, you should be. You should be.
Oh.
I had to go proper because we're starting in London.
It's doing the same thing that the other courses or course packs have done up to this point, where it opens with one of the real-life inspired locations. This one, being based on London, I feel like it's a more idealistic and maybe a little bit outdated view of London, but that kind of makes us look better, so I won't complain too much. You know, we have the red phone boxes, which are all kind of vandalised these days. The bus stop, the window was in one piece, which is better than most London bus stops. Little things like that.
You know, paratroopers all over the place. It's, London as we'd wish, really. There's like the London Eye, and one night here's me crashing into a wall because I was too busy looking at the London Eye. And as we go around the corner here, I get hit by a red shell, which is like essentially being knifed. So we weren't able to go one lap without being knifed. It's very bad at the UK's knife crime.
Yeah, and we also have demonstrations of the average London driver.
Ah, indeed.
Yeah, there's loads of little nods, like we saw the Eye, there's Big Ben somewhere in the background as well, I saw. So, like, there's a lot of love in this, and I just like seeing London represented in games, so I'm very happy this is the open track this time around.
Well, you know me, mate, I love, I don't know if residential area would be the term, but public spaces being used as, video game levels. I've talked about this before, so I won't go on about it again. But, I'm pretty happy they brought tour tracks in and gave them a bit of a sprucing up like this. Now, how did you fare with this particular track when we first played? Or when you first played, rather. Jesus Christ, the chain chomp is loose. I repeat, the chain chomp is loose.
Ah, yes, the old London chain chomp. But, yeah, this one, I enjoyed this a lot. It's, I would say it's easier than the other tour track that we'll see in the next cup. I feel like that kind of works to its benefit. I'm just really happy that I can play a Mario Kart track and say, I know that place, I've been there. I'm very simple.
Well, we're all spiritually connected to London as Brits, let's be honest here. Oh, here we go.
Bridge over the Thames is sort of downsized a bit here, but that's okay.
Motherfuckers. Oh,
well, it got him instead, so don't complain.
I'm not complaining, I'm just a little bit confused is all.
If it works out in your favour, you just take it,
And there we go, first track done and dusted. I like that. The final lap changes things up. Confused me a little bit. Sent the fear of God into me with all those chain chomps running about and whatnot. Thought I was going to get eaten on the way to Summer of Sonic, but no, I'm fine, and we're moving on to the next race.
It's been doing it through the DLC as a whole, but I noticed there are a handful of tracks in this pack that do like to change things around on the third lap. Don't get too comfortable with the layout the first time around.
Was that mentioned there in the original?
Don't recall, it's a super circuit track. You're asking a lot for me to recall a Super Circuit track.
Say no more, fam, say no more. You all know how I feel about Super Circuit, so again, I won't go on about it, but they've done this level a treat visually, because I don't want to say bland in the original, but it wasn't very fleshed out visually, shall we say.
Yeah, the GBA, the limitations were quite noticeable for racing games on the whole, so the fact that they've been able to go back to it here, and even just basic things like the reflections and that, even as simple effects as they are, they just add a whole extra layer to it and make it just a lot prettier to look at, which I appreciate.
Yeah, nice lighting and whatnot.
And the fact that they've also integrated the Mario Kart 8 specific features here, like the anti-grav stuff and the underwater sections.
Yes,
well, it's from 7, but you know, it's nice to see it here.
I can't even remember the last time I played 7.
I played it a little while ago. It's not even a bad game, it's just, I feel like it came out during that period of time early in the 3DS's lifespan where, you know, you played the stuff that was there, then you forgot about that and went on to the more substantial games that were coming out, and so it sort of got lost in the shuffle a bit.
Then they released, you know, Wii U games on there like Captain Toad and whatnot, and you just kind of had to wonder, what the hell was Nintendo cooking back then? It turns out, nothing. They burnt the food, shall we say.
Well, at least like with the Captain Toad one, that did get a Switch port as well. It's weird are the late 3DS ports that didn't get Switch versions as well, though. Like stuff like the Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn port, the Luigi's Mansion one. It's like, you know, people would rather play that on the Switch at this point.
True that. I believe we have a Captain Toad playthrough on the channel. That was me and Rich. So, yeah, shill, plug. Here we go.
Yep, very good at that.
Yeah, I like that track. I'm very glad they brought in the underwater stuff and the anti-grav. Made it so much more appealing than its, you know, original base. Now, this one, I'm not going to say I dislike it per se, but I have many mixed memories getting twatted by these boulders coming downhill.
Well, the boulders are the interesting part of this for me, because the thing that makes this distinct, going by what I remember from the 3DS version, is that the camera angle it gives you here is much better than it ever was on the 3DS.
Ah, I see. Get out of my way, Cooper Bros. It's first place for me or nothing at all.
Got some bad news, Tom, but there's someone in front of you.
Ah, Jesus Christ. Why don't I just end it all now?
No, just end Baby Daisy instead. Nobody will notice.
I think Daisy will when she disappears from the fucking timeline, mate.
Yeah, but it's fucking Daisy.
Bye.
She's a peach colour, who cares?
Well, she has her own kingdom. She was from, what, Sarasla Land? I can never pronounce it properly. It's the one from Super Mario Land.
To give her credit, she was in the best 2D Mario, so yeah, I'll let her have that.
I'm just mulling over if Flame has said a correct or an incorrect, and I'm going to have to give it to 6 golden coins, honestly.
That's fair. Like I do like both of the early land games. They're fun in their own right. I just have that extra like special spot for land one. It's probably a nostalgia thing. I'll be upfront.
Oh, it's absolutely a nostalgia thing, mate. Just like the level design and, you know, the level aesthetics alone superior in Land 2. But I'll correct you there. If we're talking the GB games, the Game Boy games, then yeah, Land is probably a very top contender, but if we're talking 2D Mario as a whole, it's probably always going to be World for me.
Yeah, see, that's fair. I can appreciate the production value of World, but for me, after replaying the GBA version of 3 recently, I've kind of got back into my old mindset of I do think 3 beats World a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But that is purely down to where I come from. I feel like 3 is the more bare bones simple Mario game, which is kind of what I like from Mario, whereas World is like, I can absolutely see why people would lean toward that. It's just, for me, I like Mario at its most simple.
I fucking love Mario. He's Italian. Had that happened, yo ho ho, he was born in Italy, etc, etc.
I am noticing a bit of the new Super Mario Brothers random, like, tubular mountains in the background, which never really was that big on that look in those games.
Shut it down, folks, shut it down. Flame wasn't a fan of this. I'm going into a bottomless pit. Jesus Christ.
No, you saved it. Cool.
I didn't see Lakitu there. That was the hand of God that did that.
God, who keeps an eye on Mario Kart characters specifically?
Oh, he throws down those blue sparks, mate. You got no idea. Alright, we're ending things with a personal favourite of mine. It's been gutted up. It's got on its Sunday best. There's the Wigglers. What more can I say? It's Maple Treeway.
It's just such a good aesthetic on the whole, that late autumn kind of look. Got music that will kick in a second that complements it perfectly. It's just like such a beautiful track.
Now, I may have failed to get a starting boost on every single one of these, but let little Ed Tom over here tell you about the days of Mario Kart Wii Online before people in Funky Riders came along and glitched everything to hell and back. There was a time when I actually used a bike. I used Wario's bike, I believe, with my Mii, and I used the Wii wheel, which was a piece of plastic you put the Wii remote into, and you steered it like a real steering wheel, but by God, we made do and it felt great.
I remember using the Wii wheel for maybe like a couple of weeks before reverting back to the good old trusty GameCube controller.
Huh. Interesting. Was that an anti-grav thing or just a normal jump thing?
I think that's just a normal jump thing, because you land back and you're back in regular kart form here.
There you go.
Do have a little raised platform on the right there that I can't actually remember if that was in the Wii version or not.
I think there was a path there, but I'm not entirely sure if the raised part was itself.
It might have just been like an extra section with items, come to think of it.
Maybe so. Oh, this remix.
It's really fucking good, yeah.
No! That's okay. I'm good.
But I like that this remix, although they have redone it a little bit, they have kind of kept the simple direction of it compared to like some of the other songs which completely go ham with the guitar. This one's kind of still keeping to the vibe that the original one had, and I like that.
Yeah. Item refresh.
Yeah, might as well.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Would you like banana or banana? I guess I'll take banana. Humph.
How can I choose? I have all these options.
Alright. It's going to be a bit of a tight victory here, but I'll do my best.
Well, you're using the word victory, so you sound committed.
This is my course, mate. I could not accept anything less than, well, I don't know, maybe redoing the entire cup to make sure I go in first place here. Son of a bitch.
What else were you expecting? Final lap and you're in first place.
It's
gonna fucking happen.
Ooh, I'm salty. It's my course. Mine. Ah!
It's your course. You're becoming very familiar with that wall, aren't you, Tom?
I am indeed.
I think you have a little bit of leeway at least from the other courses. This is the bargaining phase, just so you realise.
Fuck you! Oh. Well, that's a Mario Kart Wii track for you. It can go good, or it can go like it just went, but it doesn't matter. Top 3, baby.
A win's a win.
I guess it has to be when you come in third place at the last second.
It's fine, you've got another cup for redemption.
I do. Alright, let's have a little looky loo here. There's me. Oh, memories of like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I really like that course. That was pretty good. Are you just going to show me this one track? That's fine.
Yeah, there's a reason I always skip that thing.
1 star. It could have been free, but hey, I unlocked a new vehicle customization option, so what the hell?
Come on, we got going with style.
Okay. Moon Cup. Here we go, baby. Berlin Byways, Peach Gardens, Merry Mountain, and 3DS Rainbow Road. Brace yourself, Tom. We're going in!
Berlin Byways has a lot more going on in it than the London track did, so keep your eyes open for hazards, especially in the later laps of this.
Okay. That's a bold choice, putting a thwomp, or a womp, whatever it is, in the Berlin fucking wall.
It's a bold choice, but at the same time I can respect it.
Yeah. Alright, there we go. This one's for Maple Treeway. Ooh, fancy.
This is where you'll notice that I am much less familiar with Germany than I am with England, because I'm not going to be able to point out what all the landmarks are this time like I did last time.
Well, dude, you're English and Polish, need I say more?
Well, basically, yeah. We have a bit of history.
History jokes, I love them. It's a very nice looking course, I'll give it that.
With the previous waves, we did have the initial shock of, like, you know, we were used to these super pretty, like, Wii U and Switch visuals, and then it was like, suddenly it looks like a mobile game. Now we've had a couple of waves and we've had time to get used to it. I feel like I'm a lot less bothered by it now, and I can look at this in a vacuum and just say, like, yeah, this is Berlin, it looks nice.
We all know these tracks aren't on the same level of fidelity as the base tracks, and at this point, like Flame says, I don't really care. I'm paying like what, 50p a track, if that. You know, call me too forgiving of Nintendo's DLC policies here, but this is enough for me.
I think it's very smart the approach they took, because, like, yeah, if they wanted to, they could have shifted their priorities and maybe, like, put out half the amount of tracks but a bit more polished, and I can see why some people might have preferred that. But also, this is an online game. It's a multiplayer heavy game.
Yes.
It's the kind of game that people who play this, there's a lot of people out there who will play Mario Kart every week with their friends and that. So the sheer quantity and making each play session different from having that sheer quantity, I think that's the smarter option here. I understand where they're coming from when they made this decision.
I keep thinking Baby Rosalina is EGAD for some reason. Also, second question, why isn't EGAD in the roster?
That's a good point. There might be like a pink gold baby EGAD in the next game, we'll see.
Oh no, I use my Babyator on myself. What the hell?
See, out of all the baby characters, that's the one that would make the most sense.
Really, yeah.
But yeah, what you didn't see there when you went over the thwomps is you can actually use them to fly up and get a boost off them, which I think is pretty cool.
Ooh.
It doesn't actually look like you should be able to, because they're about the height of your car, but still.
Once again, putting those things in such a historical monument, shall we say. Bold choice. Bold. Beautiful, even.
There's certain places in the world I'm glad I'm not getting Mario Kart adaptations, and I'll leave it at that.
I'm reading your mind, and I wish I wasn't. Alright, next course is... Peach Gardens. I'm trying to remember, did I have any notable fuck-ups during my DS tenure? I can't actually remember doing the GPs there. I remember the mission mode, the wonderful mission mode that they never brought back, and also online, before it was ruined by snaking. You noticing a pattern here in Mario Kart Online?
A little bit. It seems more stable these days, at least, so we can kind of look past that. But yeah, the Wii and DS era really didn't handle online that well. We're ripping into Mario Kart, but that had nothing on the fucking Brawl online, Jesus Christ. Not having a good start here, are you?
No. Again, Chain Chomp's just wandering hither and thither. Peach, I know you're a royal, but I thought you were meant to be the responsible one of the group.
Yeah, but they're kinda like dogs, so it's like letting a pets roam the garden.
Dude, it's like if a Rottweiler was just a giant head.
Well, now you frame it like that, I'm starting to see where you're coming from.
Exactly.
But yeah, I do like Peach Gardens. It was always one of my favourites from DS that I remember. They changed it up a little bit here, again following the pattern mainly on lap 3. So get ready for that. But yeah, it's one of them ones that I distinctly remember learning where all these sharp turns are, because some of them, at least in the DS version where the camera was a little bit closer in, you did kind of have to be prepared for them. You kind of had to learn past this trap.
Indeed so, mate. Get out of the way.
Like, that's something that maybe we take for granted a little bit these days, in the fact that because the camera was pulled back, it's a bigger resolution, you can see more in the distance. You can actually see the signs with the arrows there before you're crashing into them.
Alright, keep my coins up. Bada bing.
Hold on to them, because in this lap, you're going to be going on a slightly different route.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, you forget your turns that you mastered on laps 1 and 2. Now we're going pretty much backwards, like through certain parts of the track here.
Does that count as mirror mode per se?
Well, mirror mode, it's just like a sort of horizontal flip, whereas this is like you're actively driving the other way around the course.
Oh, even the Piranha guy here does.
Yeah, I loved how he's got his own little animation for that.
Alright, just keep that handy. Not going to help at all if a blue shell comes a-calling, and it will. Look out, Luigi!
Yeah, we get to fly over this section here. Chain Chunks can't quite reach us.
I know you didn't say it, but it sounded like you said chain chonks, and that's adorable.
That's a bit too Reddit for my liking.
Well... Sometimes you've got to just go in the thing. Just got to go in the thing.
You were about to imply I'm Redditing, so you deserve that.
Fair enough, mate. Sorry. I thought Wendy O'Cooper was going to overtake me at the last second, but she didn't because I'm epic. Maybe I am Reddit.
Yeah, you are a bit Reddit, Tom. It's fine. You can admit it.
I thought calling myself Nintendo Tom Reddit 64 was a mistake, but only now do I realise my folly. What the fuck am I talking about? Whatever. It's original cup time, baby, and just in time for Crimbo.
The original track here, Merry Mountain. This one, I kind of like the track layout and design, but I also had the most trouble with this out of any of the new tracks, because I got twatted on the last ramp down on the 3rd lap about 3 times in a row trying to get the gold stars on this cup.
Oh, interesting.
Not the greatest memories of it for that reason.
I did a unboxing video earlier for this Sonic figurine, which, well, it's more of a statue, really. And that put me in a Christmas mood, and then it all fell apart like a cheap piece of tat. And that made me feel even more Christmassy. Of toys of Christmas past. This would be the thing you're talking about.
The most effective way I have found of keeping your momentum here, if I can say the fucking word, is to kind of weave in and out of those little boost things. Because like, if you stay on one side of them, then you'll get kind of flipped and you just end up crashing straight into one of them.
Right.
But if you try and keep those like swerves going, then you kind of keep it up a little bit.
Jesus Christ. I thought I was doing well dodging all those bananas, but no, the AI is on point in this particular cup.
Yeah, they're sending you shows for Christmas.
Lovely.
That's one thing we haven't talked about yet, actually. Along with the new tracks in this wave, there was also a general game patch for this.
Yeah.
And what that does is, in certain versus modes now, you can turn on and off each item individually. So if you want to keep this as like a more basic racer and turn items off, you can do that. And also, if you hate all your friends, you can have a blue shell only mode. So that's something that I'm sure someone has already tried.
Oh yeah, I've seen the screenshots and whatnot. People do be wilding.
I mean, that's kind of in the spirit of Mario Kart. I am glad that that's an option now, because that kind of always has been the sticking point against Mario Kart, or like a bit of a limitation for it, in that it's fun as a pure chaos racer, but the items kind of make it hard to take it seriously as a racing game, despite the fact that there are underlying good racing mechanics.
Oh, of
so I'm
course.
kind of glad that that is an option now. People can customize the game to their liking a bit more. Let's see, can you hold it here?
No, I don't think so, sadly.
This is the merry mounting experience as I had it.
Well, second place is better than last, I suppose.
No, that means you are literally first place for losers, Tom.
But I'm still in first place overall, Flame.
Okay, well, let's try and hold that on Rainbow Road.
Well, I'll have to hold it as I hold that L. Bring us to what I believe is the last course of the pack. I would have preferred Double Dash's Rainbow Road, but man, they did this one up a treat.
And I know this possibly isn't the case, but I like to think that they're holding on to Double Dash for the final one. All the memes aside, that alone is a good spectacle track, Double Dash Rainbow Road, so if they're gonna end it on a high, that'd be a good pick.
Indeed so.
But also, it's called a road, it's called a Rainbow Road.
It's where you go when you die, which, speaking of, if I come in second overall, I'm going to die, and then cry, and then die again. Ah!
This is one of the easier Rainbow Road tracks. It's one of the short ones as well, because it does the thing where instead of laps, it's like the 3 distinct chunks.
Ah, okay.
So as long as you kind of hold on to like the first here and don't drive off the edge, you should be okay. But even then, this one, it seems to have more barriers than I remember a lot of the others having.
He says, just as we come to a section with lots of bottomless pits.
Well, this part does, but like toward the end of this, it sort of goes on to another section below. So it's fine.
It's fine, he says. He's not the one bloody racing.
No, but I've managed to get the 3 gold stars on both of these new cups, so I've earned the right to be a little bit of a prick about it.
I guess. Ah, this bit was always cool. Oh wow, they made it an anti-grav section. Well, we're on the fucking moon, of course.
Yeah, it makes sense to have it here.
I wasn't even aware of where we were going there.
It does have a little bit of that Waluigi pinball energy though, where you sort of go to an open section with chain jumps rolling all over the place. So like, if you got fucked over by that, you might also have a bad time here. If you make good juicy jumps here, not down there, then you can save it.
Good. Why are these things like staying so long? Like that lightning was around forever.
I don't know, maybe it's because you just haven't played it in a while, so you lost track of how long they meant to last for.
I think Wendy beat my ass there. Oh! Oh!
Only just! Jesus Christ!
Oh, well, that one was a lot tougher than the previous cup, so, Jesus, I wonder if I'm even going to get a star for that.
Well, you got the first place, so it's better than nothing.
Show me my best of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yep, Peach Gardens. That's the one. Right there, that was my best. Thank you, Metal Mario.
That's the highlight of this race.
You can probably see why the 3DS Rainbow Road isn't my favourite, but that's mostly me being a salty John right there. And you know what we say, no Johns. No Johns. I came first twice and that was it. It got worse as I went on to see no stars. I think that was my worst GP yet in this DLC.
Well, I mean, it had a Rainbow Road, so at least it was on the actual hard track and not, like, fucking Peach Gardens or some shit.
Indeedy so, indeedy so. Yeah, let's just go back to this screen here. Da-da-da.
And they plays Gang U voice for the maze already.
No. Alright, so in the next wave, I believe we'll be playing these two bad boys. The apple, question mark, and the boomerang flower. Well, it just says the fruit cup. I really should be looking at the fucking screen. But we're not quite done yet, folks. Give us a second to set up, and I believe it's time to rank the courses from the rock and the moon cups. One sec. Okie dokie, we're back. As you can see, we still have everything we ranked from the last batch of courses. These are all the base tracks, so down here is the Rock and Moon Cups. Let's start with London Loop, mate. How would you rank this on a scale from S to D?
Well, I have a little bit of a bias, as we already established when we were racing around it. The fact that it's a London track lifts it way up in my eyes. But as a track in itself, I feel like it is also very solid. So I would give it an A.
I think overall, Berlin impressed me a little bit more, but this was fairly solid. So, should we say somewhere in between B and A?
Either a low A or high B, I guess.
Okay, so I'm going to put London Loop over Tokyo Blur. Just here. So, like, it's B plus edging into A and whatnot.
We're already overcomplicating this.
Alright, up next, GBA Boo Lake.
For me, I like it when they do this, when they take tracks from the 2D games and make them a lot more interesting. The base track itself, it's very simple. It's just a loop with a few jumps, but I do like the enhancements here. For me, I would say it's probably like a mid-B.
A mid-B. Okay. For me, I would actually say A, because it's kind of just reversed from the London track here, because all these improvements made for a super solid, enjoyable track, and, you know, the aesthetic enhancements just make it that much more enjoyable. It's spooky time at Christmas, so, I'm going to give that a low A. You said a mid B. We'll put this, I think, just over Snowland here. 2 GBA tiles next to each other.
Yeah, okay, that works out.
Rock Mountain, I don't have much to say about this one. Nothing against the track itself, but it's almost the same track, if not the same track, from the 3DS, and I didn't really care for it much there. So I want to hear your opinion before I rank it.
I would say that it's a decent enough track, but it's one of the least memorable ones because of like the setting and that. I would say probably high C because it is still fun to play at least, but yeah, no, compared to other tracks that we've got in this wave alone, it's not the most amazing thing in the world.
No, I completely agree. So it's probably the strongest of the C tier tracks we've gotten out of the DLC so far, but I don't really have much else to say about that. As opposed to this one, Maple Treeway Wii, baby! It looks great, it sounds great, I ate complete shit in that run, but I still had a good time. This is going to be a strong A for me.
I would say go all the way, S for Soul. I love Maple Treeway. It's beautiful. It's got some fun like turns and stuff where you can do some cool shit. It's got a great piece of music to it. It is beautiful.
So you went S, I went A. I tell you what, I'll meet you in the middle, and we are going to put it just over Sydney Sprint.
Looking at that in between Sydney Sprint and Ninja Hideaway, I think that's the perfect spot for it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the Rock Cup. Now we have the Moon Cup, starting with Berlin Byways from Tour. Again, silly as hell that they use the Berlin Wall as, you know, a gameplay feature, but I like the general aesthetic of the level. There was a lot of routes that I didn't really peruse, so I didn't get the most out of it, but I thought it was actually a fairly strong track. So I'm going to give this a high B, actually.
I would say that I would put it just above the London track.
Okay.
Because like it doesn't have the London buff to it, but some of the track design going on there is really cool in its own right, and so that lifts it just a little bit above in the grand scheme of things for me.
Yeah, that looks about right to me. Hey, 3 Tour tracks right there in the B tier. Okay, Peach Gardens next. That's a solid A for me. It's just a really nice course.
Yeah, I would say same. Just give it an A. I like the DS version of the track to start with, but the fact that they added that new route on the third lap just makes it that a little bit more interesting. So yeah, A tier works for that.
Yeah, there we go, just over at Paris Promenade. Merry Mountain, very neat track. I wouldn't say it's the most in-depth or mechanically deep one of them all, but I do like the fact you can ride on the train tracks and whatnot. So I'm going to say high B for me.
B's fair. Like, the Christmas aesthetic doesn't really do much for me, but in terms of just the track design, like, you've got some ramps where you can, like, build up some speed. You got the train track section, as you mentioned. I like what he does.
Yeah, so just in between Berlin and London for me.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
And now we have the most controversial pick, which I'm definitely not going to place low simply because I ate shit and took third place. 3DS Rainbow Road.
Get good, it's A tier.
I have to disagree. I would say low B at best.
Yeah, well, I like this track. If you're comparing it to other Rainbow Roads, then I can understand why you might pick one of the others above it. But I like the sort of semi-transparency thing that this has going on. I like that particular arrangement in the music, and I just think the layout's pretty good. I like it.
Well, okay, fuck you. It's going in between Boo Lake and Snowland, whatever you say.
This tier list isn't canon, okay?
It is in my universe, but there you go, guys. That is wave 3 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass stuff. God. So many words to remember in the correct order, but we've put the tracks in the correct order, or have we? Let us know in the comments below, and we will see you guys again when Wave 4 drops, where we'll be covering the Fruit and Boomerang Cups. See you whenever Nintendo decides to drop this. Bye for now.